Peace, y'all. Welcome back to another video. Today's video is my tofu scramble recipe, which is just like an alternative for scrambled eggs. So this recipe can be manipulated a lot. This is just like a basic recipe that I like to use, so enjoy. These are the ingredients that I use in the seasonings. Like I said, can be manipulated. So first you just drain the water out of the tofu and wrap it up in a paper towel to absorb all that liquid. You're going to put something heavy on top. I use this Sunny D, but you could use anything heavy. So for the veggies, I was being lazy, so I just used my food processor to chop them instead of chopping them myself. But you could do either. It's really based on your preference. So I just chopped up the onions in small enough chunks to fit inside the food processor. And just make sure you don't process it too long to the point that it turns into like onion puree, because I did that for the bell peppers, but whatever. And you just heat up your oil in the skillet. You should do that before, but I forgot. And then you just transfer your onions over. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the bell pepper. And again, just make sure not to process it too long to the point that it is less of a diced bell pepper and more of a puree. After that, you just transfer the peppers over to the skillet as well and just allow that stuff to cook down. I cooked mine a little bit longer just because I made it a little too liquidy. So as that cooks down, I just moved on to my sausages. I like to use the field roast smoked apple sage, and I just use one link of the sausage and cut it up into little halves, and then I add that to the skillet so that they can cook down and kind of saute in the onion and pepper mix. By now your tofu is about ready. Your tofu can really sit for anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. It just depends on how dried out you want it to be. So you'll unwrap it, and I just use a fork to kind of make it that crumbly texture and just try to mash out all the square chunks of tofu until I get the right size crumbles that I want. And then after that, you'll add your seasonings. So I love onion powder, and I add some of that. I don't measure anything. I just kind of do it until I feel like it's enough. Garlic powder, some paprika, some black pepper. And yes, I have this huge thing of turmeric, and I'm only going to use like half a teaspoon, and it's mainly to give it the yellow color. And then some Himalayan pink salt that I just add a few pinches to before I mix everything up. I want to make sure that all the little crumbles are like, get some seasoning touch in them, because if you don't know, tofu really only takes on the flavor of whatever you season or cook it with. So you want to make sure you don't have any bland pieces. So now I'm getting ready to transfer the tofu to the skillet. So I'll just make a bare spot where it can have direct contact with the skillet, and add a little more oil and just add in the tofu now and mix everything together. So while the tofu is in the skillet cooking and getting nice and brown, I'm going to work on the rest of the veggies, starting off with the asparagus. I just broke off the tips at the end and cut it into little bite-sized pieces so that it wouldn't take too long for them to cook down. And I like to save the tomato for towards the end because its water content is so high. I really just wanted for the juicy flavor and the texture, but not to actually add any more liquid to the tofu that we just like dried out. So I add that towards the end, and then the very last thing I add is the spinach because it cooks down in like 2 seconds. So I just make an opening for that, add it in and mix it in together. You really don't even need the heat on to cook the spinach down. I forgot to add the cumin, but I feel like it's a very important seasoning in this dish, so that's what that was, just some cumin and just mixing everything together now. And the main thing is just cooking it for as long as you want to cook out whatever water may be remaining, and if you want it to get a little seared on the bottom, then you can let it sit in the skillet for as long as you want. I paired it with some arugula and toast. I really like it with any type of bread. Y'all can pair it with any type of bread and it goes well. But I pair mine with arugula and this killer bread toast. And it was amazing. So I hope y'all try this recipe. And if you like it, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank y'all so much for watching. See you in the next video. Peace.